I'm AJ.
I'm Satin.
And welcome to Rooted in Real, where genuine conversation meets grounded perspective. I got it right that time, guys. All right, Satin, how you been?
I've been awesome. I've been awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's elaborate on awesome.
Okay, so this week, it really wasn't that bad. Okay, let's start off by saying this. I am not tech savvy in the least. In some kind of way, I have designated, or we have designated, me as the person.
Ain't no we.
That's
you
in
left
charge.
this house last week and you said, I'm going to figure out how to do these things. I said, are you sure, Satin? I'm not sure. I want you to have to do it by yourself. What happened? It's next Friday and you ain't figured it out.
I did figure it out.
You did figure out some.
I did figure out some. I figured out enough for us to edit the first episode.
Then you had a headache and you've been up all night.
I had a fever.
Right. Because you don't listen. But it's okay. So don't be talking about we designated. You decided, I said, are you sure? And then you went with it. I did not designate you to do this by yourself.
You're right. Absolutely. She is correct. Because I have more time than she does. And so I thought, okay, well, somebody got to learn it. And I think I'm really good at explaining things on how to do something. I'm explaining things to people on how to do something. And I like to do a lot. I like to research. So looking it up.
I don't. So that's fair.
Yes. So this week was fine. It wasn't challenging in the least. I had a lot of time, so I didn't feel rushed. I didn't feel pressure or anything like that. Okay. It was just going into new territory. Like, I didn't even have social media until we started this podcast.
Right. And you still ain't really got it.
I still really ain't got it. We have a social media page.
Right.
But I don't have one.
Right. Okay. Well,
okay. So this week was good.
I appreciate that.
Just trying to figure out how to
do this podcast thing that we said we was doing.
That we said for fun.
For fun.
For fun.
For free. Anyway. Yeah. It is free right now.
It is free.
But yeah, so my week was cool. Work was all right. You know, it is what it is. Basketball's over. That's a little bit sad. I
did he win last Saturday?
No, their little team lost, but it was okay. They kept it real good for a little while, real close. Like halftime was like 9-8, and they just kind of lost it. Like
are they all tiny?
No. So like there's 3-4 kids that are kind of tall, and the other ones are smaller. But this other team, they didn't even have. Anyway, we ain't gonna talk about it for real. But I was like, I think y'all just didn't keep up the good work. Like they could have beat this team. They were doing a great job. They were playing good defense. They could have beat them. I think once they, the other team made a couple of baskets in a row. Yeah, they just feel like the score is just so far, and they're just like, dang. It's over. I'm like, no, it's not over.
They're only 8. So
I know. So it's not over. They don't understand. Like, if you just played a little bit harder, you could have caught up and that would have been fine. But it's okay. They had fun. Yeah. Jackson wasn't crying afterwards. I was proud of him for that. He enjoyed it, made him some new friends. Like, all
of those kids are legitimately there because their parents made them be there. They have no concept of what they're doing.
True. Now, see, I will say Jackson is like, he gets all excited about making these things and want to do these things and want to be involved with stuff. Right. Because I'm like, hey, at any point you decide you don't want to do this, I'm not paying to force you to go play games.
Well, I'm the opposite. My kids are very, very introverted. So, my oldest is very introverted.
Yeah, we'll know what we're going to do with that little one. He is not currently interested in the ball, so I don't know what he's going to play. But also, when I went to get my nails done today, got my nails done, and this girl sat next to me in the pedicure chair, and I've never talked to her. I haven't seen it before. It's a younger...
Were you social?
She made me. She made me be social. So she was like 25. She was real cute, you know. And she was just, she asked me, so, oh, I love that French on your nails, girl. And I was like, oh, thank you. And she starts talking about like, you know, well, what do you do? And I said, oh, I'm a physical therapist. She said, well, I thought you were going to say like you were a dermatologist or something because you look so put together. And I was like, there ain't nobody talking about looking that put together in my life. But she's like, and your skin is just so nice. I said, thank you. This man. On purpose, I know. Y'all hold on. Because we're not editing it out. I just want you to know. Not editing that man out, banging on the door like the police. Doing it on purpose.
The police.
On purpose. And got a key. And didn't wait for me to open the door. So clearly you didn't need. Just on purpose. But anyway, so I thought that was cool. The girl was just saying that she thought that I was real put together. And I said, oh.
I think I told you that when I first met you. Well, not when I first met you, but at some point in time. I told you seem like a real adult.
And that just feels like a real imposter syndrome.
You know what?
Like, I'm faking it till I make it for real.
We are absolutely going to discuss that later on in a couple episodes because I absolutely am pretending to be an adult. I know I am every day.
Like, y'all, I still buy the toothpaste that's on sale. I don't even have a specific toothpaste I buy.
Just whatever's on sale.
Whatever's on sale.
That's what you
like,
get.
I think as an adult, I'm supposed to have one that I like.
Yeah, you should have something over the years that you've grown accustomed
like,
to.
I want to keep doing that.
That works. Let me keep buying that.
I'm not there yet, but it's okay. It's cool. We're going to get there. I'm 36. We'll be an adult soon.
I don't know. I'm a Toys R Us kid.
Toys R Us went out of business.
No, they're back in business.
They went bankrupt.
They came back in business. There's some locations and they did some online
look it
stuff.
up after this.
Look, I'm telling you.
Now, you know what? They might still be online. But I know their physical stores are gone.
I believe all of their physical stores are gone, but they did make a comeback a couple years ago.
I think she just wanted them to have made a comeback.
They did.
William.
They absolutely made a comeback.
All right. So what's the topic for today? What are we talking about?
Okay, so the topic today, we're going to wrap up our discussion on friendship. Today we're going to discuss how to be a friend.
Yes, and different types of friendships.
Yes, different types of friendships. Expectations in friendships, I think, is extremely important. That goes along with how to be a friend. Some of the things that I looked at, because not just for this podcast, but because I was interested in it. That's why we are 3 episodes in, and we are discussing friendship, because that's an extremely important thing for me. Being someone that I don't work. I don't have a place that I go to where I have colleagues, and friends. So for me, it's whoever I already have in my life.
That's what you got.
That's what I got. And
you got to keep us.
You got to keep. Well,
you gonna let me go?
I'm not gonna let you go.
We too entwined at
this
point.
But you can adjust some people. Last week we talked about the friendship shelf theory.
We did, and you can move people up
and
and
down.
You can
move people up and down. Now some people done went up, and some people done came down.
Okay.
And then some people no longer existence.
Right. So if you missed that episode on friendship shelf theory, you should go back and watch episode 2. It was pretty good. If you ask me.
Yes, it was pretty good. I do ask you. So I agree.
Good.
But I absolutely believe that it's important to cultivate the relationships that you already have.
Yes.
And in order to do that, as we discussed before, when you grow and you get older, you mature, things change in your life. So then, therefore, your relationships have to change. Your friendships have to change. And so I think going back and evaluating how to be a friend and your expectations in friendships are absolutely important, because what I expected when I was 25 is not the same thing I expect now.
Right. We different.
That I'm older.
That I'm older.
Yeah.
Not how old we are. Just
not how old I am.
Got it.
Just because I'm older.
But yeah, we did talk about, we've touched on it at the end of the last episode, about how there's different kinds of friends that you might have that, maybe don't even stick around. So like have seasonal friends.
Yes.
So like sometimes the people you meet in like college, like some of them become your lifelong friends. Some of them you leave behind in college. Like you talk to them, but you wish them well, but you don't talk to them anymore.
That's right.
But they were really pivotal.
At that time. Like
y'all probably ate in the caf together all the time. Y'all probably walked to the gym together, walked to the grocery store together, but not like we don't talk every day anymore.
Right. Absolutely.
And I'm not saying that y'all aren't still friends necessarily, but they got you through a big season and you got them through a big season.
That's right. An important transition time.
A very important transition time in life.
Yes.
College I cried. Don't do that. That was judgment. We listen and we don't judge.
No, I listen and I judge. People need to quit telling lies. I listen and I judge.
So I thought that I was ready to go to college. I was like, I'm ready to get up out of here. I'm Augusta. I've been here all this time. I'm ready to go. And then when I got there, it was so quiet. There was nothing. And it was like a week before school started that I had to move in. And I was like, call my mom. I said, I want to go home. And if it was up to her, I probably would have went back home. My dad was like, nope. She made a commitment. She's got to stay.
That's right.
If she doesn't want to do it after this semester or whatever, we can talk about it. But like, she got to stay. And I'm so glad that man made me stay.
Yeah.
College was great for me. I'm glad he made me stay.
I feel like college is a great experience. I know a lot of times people say you don't have to go to college to get the job you want or the career you want to have. Right. And that is absolutely true.
But the college experience is unmatched.
It is unmatched.
Especially at a young age.
Yes, I think it's a great place to be in a bubble, to be in a protective bubble, to grow and to mature. Yes. And that's the reason why I wanted my daughter to go to college. Not necessarily because
send her away, y'all.
I did send her away. I told her she had to go to a school outside of Georgia.
But she grew them wings and she flew.
And she did.
Friends, got her a man. She grew them wings, baby.
Let's not discuss any of that.
Sorry. You're right. So let's move on. Other kinds of friends you might have are like pre and post kids, marriage, family type friends. So a lot of times. Now, it's not saying that you can't keep your pre-kid friends when you get kids, but some of your pre-kid friends don't understand what it's like to not be able to talk to you post-kids.
That's right.
To be able to just call you and be like, hey, girl, you want to go to the mall?
Right.
I'm breastfeeding. I'm sorry, I can't go right now.
Right.
Like, I don't want to take my baby out in the world. I'm not ready for that. I don't want to have to take these diapers. Like, you just get up and go. I have to pack a human and take them with me. So sometimes you just might not be in the mood for that sort of thing, and they may not understand that, and they may fall off. Or you get you a pre-kid friend that will come to your house instead, and you keep that relationship thriving.
Right.
And then you find your friends post-kids, post-marriage that are also in the same situations that that can help you deal with the same situations that you're dealing with, that might even have a little insight already. Like, you've already got 2 kids that were older, so you can help me out a little bit when I'm like, hey, why am I here doing this and that and third?
Yeah.
I don't understand. And I'm that now for my friend Fro. She was like, hey, is this normal? Now, she a whole midwife. Now, she deals with pushing babies out, but after they leave,
but the nurturing and the growing.
Yeah, she don't know nothing about that. After that, she's never changed a diaper. She's never done any of that. So she was like, hey, is this normal? Is this normal? Is this normal? I'm like, yes, because I'm there for her because I've already had the children.
That's good.
I can tell her what to do. I can be like, no, but hey, that's not normal. Go talk to somebody about that.
Go talk to somebody about that.
I think that's important. To my child. It could be normal. It didn't happen to either one of my kids. I didn't hear about that when I had children.
So explain it to me more in detail. Let's work this thing out together.
Let's Google it.
I think when early on in our friendship, as we discussed in our first episode, when we were introducing ourselves,
episode 1, go watch it.
When we first became friends and we were doing the exercise and you found out you were pregnant, it was still okay because you were just, pregnant. Like, I didn't have to make any adjustments to the way my lifestyle was. Yeah. Even though at the time, my youngest, I don't remember their ages, but she was still.
That's a while back.
Yeah,
she was probably like 6 or 7, something like that.
Yes, yeah. She was still at a stage where I was predominantly the primary carrier. She wasn't super independent yet. Yeah. There was still me picking her up, taking her to school, all of those things. Mm-hmm. During that time, it was easy because your kids was little, so she was little, and she loved your kids, so they were always together.
Still does.
She absolutely loves them, absolutely. And so I think now as she's gotten older. And I think there was a period in time when she was so busy with all her extracurriculars and my oldest was busy with their extracurriculars. I was pretty much child free. Yeah. And so whenever I would want to do something and I would think about you, I'd be like, I can't call her. She got kids. Like, not just because you have kids, but because you have the kids. Yeah. Like, your husband would be at work or he would be off somewhere or whatever y'all schedule was. You didn't have as much freedom as I had.
Right.
And so I would be like, well, I was going to ask if you wanted to go, get some sushi. But, she's like, oh, no, I'm down for sushi. We can find somebody to keep these kids. To go
put them on the backpack and we can go.
We can go. And so I think during that there was a small window of time, but I don't think it really affected us in that way.
Because you already had kids.
I already had kids.
Understood what it was
I already
like.
Understood.
And the trenches of like initially having children.
That's right.
The first couple of years are a little bit rougher than the rest of them.
Yes, they are.
In their own way. I feel like, especially when it comes to
when
like
you're
getting
adjusting.
like getting out of the house and doing that kind of stuff. Of course, teenagers have their own issues, but you can leave the house with it. They can just get in the car.
That's right.
They can walk themselves to the car. They're not going to throw a tantrum.
Get themselves together.
Yeah, they're not going to throw a tantrum on the way to the car. You ain't got to pick them up and hold them by their jacket because they're going to go where you want them to go. You don't have to do nothing crazy.
You don't have to make them put their hands in your pocket so when they go to the Walmart, they don't get lost.
Exactly, because they're fine.
They don't become Adam. No offense. It's Adam alert. That's what they call it at the Walmart.
Is it?
Yes, because John Walsh's son that was kidnapped in Walmart.
You know what I don't know? I don't know what I don't know.
Oh, see, and that's another thing. I know a bunch of
useless facts.
Random nonsense. Just random nonsense.
I will say it's useless. A lot of that stuff I'm like, dang, that's cool.
That's interesting. And then you'll say,
would I have ever looked it up? No.
No, but then when I bring it up to you, it's like, I'm going to look it up just to see if what she's saying is accurate and true. Because some of it sounds nonsense.
It sounds nonsensical. But I also trust her. So I'm not, sometimes when I say that, I'll be like, I'm going to look it up. And then by the time we get off the phone, I'm like, nah, I ain't looking it up. She said it. It's probably true.
I don't have a reason to lie.
Exactly.
You
ain't got a lot of
kick.
You ain't got a lot to kick it. Sure don't.
It takes so much energy to lie.
It does.
And I don't have enough.
That I don't like, and a friend is a liar.
I don't have enough energy to remember the lies I done told.
You would not.
I would forget.
And I'd be like, didn't you tell me you was going to the store?
And I'd be like,
I was at home. I'm sorry, I lied. Home.
Yeah.
You would just let the lie go.
It's like when people call and they say, "Well, you sleep?" Yes,
I was.
But your voice, like my husband says, I do this all the time. He says he calls me and has full conversations with me in my unconscious sleep state. And he says I respond as if I'm awake. I sound vibrant.
So you think you got it?
I think I got it. And when he get home and he see me gone, and he'll come in there talking to me, and I'm like,
What is you talking
about? Sunday, he called me talking about what you want to eat. I said, I'm good or something. Then I said, whatever, you go get you something, Captain D's. I just named it. I don't even know what I named. And so he came home and I was asleep. So then later on that evening, he woke me up and he was like, hey, you gonna get up and eat? And I was like, what time is it? What day is it? And he was like, I got your food. It's in the microwave. And I was like, he said, well, I put it in the refrigerator now. And I was like, what food? And he was like, the food you told me to get. And I was like, what food?
That's a good man, Savannah.
It's a good man, Savannah.
Okay. Expectations.
Yes. Expectations. What are some of your
really,
expectations?
This is how to be a good friend.
How to be a good friend.
Things of being a good friend. So we got our first one. Be the friend who reaches out first.
Yes.
The thing about that for some people is like, well, if I'm always reaching out first,
right.
And it's a one-sided friendship.
That's right. Do they care about me?
Do they care about me at all? So when you have a good two-way street friendship,
right? Both of you
are saying something to each other. Even if for me and her, like she calls me every Friday. Yes. Well, now we're here, but she calls me on Fridays. But during the week, we send memes to each other.
Yes.
We send videos.
That's right.
We're alive.
For I want to say maybe 2 years. I think I seen you in those 2 years twice. And we were just sitting,
same city.
Yeah, same city.
Regularly.
We talk regularly, and we, I would FaceTime her every Friday, pretty much every Friday, and we would send, like you said, we would send memes all during the week. And if I didn't send you them for like 2 weeks, or I didn't respond to the memes that you sent me, you would call me.
Yeah, because I'm like,
wait a minute, whoa. You didn't even do a thumbs up. Come on, what's going on?
But see, it's the thing, like I won't notice it for a little bit. Then I'm like, wait a minute, are you all right?
Yeah,
because it's been about 3 days.
Right.
But anyway, so being on the two-way street with a friend is a great marker of a great friendship.
But I also think at different points in time in a person's life, they may be the one that's reaching out more than the other.
Yes, and sometimes there may be a time where you may be a little down.
Right.
And you might need me to give you the connection of checking on you first.
Absolutely. And I'm sure on this list that we're gonna go over is gonna discuss this, but I think it's also important to be vocal and communicate with the friend that, hey, I'm not. And I know a lot of people are like, I don't want to tell people my business, but if they're your friends,
I know what friend are you looking for to be with you when you're having all these struggles? If you can't tell them that you're having the struggle, absolutely.
I feel like you should be able to tell them, hey, I'm going through a time right now, so I may not reach out. And when you say that type of person is going to make sure that they're present in your life, even if they may have something going on with themselves. They'll be like, okay, I got to make it a point to at least text or call and check in because the little things matter.
Yes, it does.
Okay. Number 2 says actually listen, like really listen.
Yes. Active listening is a big part of any relationship, whether it be romantic or friendship. Active listening is not just you sitting here going, mm-hmm.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. 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 But you can't repeat a single word I said, or even paraphrase what I said, or even give me a summary of what I said when I've been talking for 3 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't do that, you were not actively listening. And now what is the purpose of me talking to you if you're not going to pay attention to what I'm saying?
That's right.
Because now I feel like now that we're back on that one-way street. Like, I'm talking and you don't care.
And you're just present to be present.
Yes, I'm being vulnerable with you.
Right.
And you ain't even listening to me. I'm pouring out and you ain't even listening to me.
And then, like, when you're talking or when you're having a conversation and like you are pouring out, and then maybe you ask the question in the middle of it, this is how you know they're not listening. And you just wait for the response.
And they go,
are you still there?
No, what you say?
And they might say something like, oh, my phone dropped out, or I didn't hear that part. Repeat it, because they're not listening.
Yeah, that does happen to me where I'd be like, dang, my kid, I was listening, and then my kid just decided to start hollering right at this part that and I'm like, hey, repeat whatever you just said. Repeat it, my bad. I was listening up until this point, and I can give you a summary of what you said up until this point, but I just missed that last, 2 lines. Because Jaden just walk up and scream.
Well, I love Jaden.
Close to me for whatever reason. And I'm like, baby, listen, I'm trying to have a conversation on this phone. They bother me as soon as I get on the phone.
Yes, they do. They do. Because you'll say they were just over there quiet.
Minding their business. And when I pick up the phone to call somebody, mom.
I think it's a radar that kids have.
Like when you hear the crinkle of food, they come for that too. But anyway. Number 3, celebrate their wins loudly and often. I am absolutely somebody that celebrates the wins. Yes. And the thing is, if somebody can't sell you that they're proud of you for doing something big.
Are they jealous? Are they an undercover hater? Are they a hater? Can you still say
that? Probably. I don't know what they do these days. Yeah. But not being able to celebrate somebody else, like you're not a real friend. You're not a real person. Like if you could only be jealous and envious of somebody else all the time, are you just expecting them to always be beneath you?
Yeah.
Like is that
there are
some
people.
We're friends as long as I'm doing better than you at all times.
That's right. That's not
a friend.
That's not a friend at all. For example, my kid's aunt. She's not really their aunt, but she's their aunt. I actually she still is the person if we die, she's getting my kids. she had bought a brand new car. And at the time, I didn't need a car, but I wanted a car. And she came and she was like, oh, I got a new car, blah, blah, blah. She came and told me. She hadn't told anybody because, again, there weren't a lot of people celebrating the wins in her life.
Yeah.
But she came to me and she was telling me about it, and I was so excited. And it was after church, and I was like, let's go outside. Have you prayed over the car? And she's like, no. I said, let's pray over it. And she was like, well, I was like, that's the vehicle you're going to be in. Mm-hmm. You know, we need to walk around and pray, girl. I ran around that entire car praying. Not only did I pray, just, you know, the Lord to protect her and bless her and thank, you know, just praising the Lord. Yeah, just praising the Lord for her blessing. I was also rubbing on it. I was like, hey, Lord, you can do it for them. You can do it for me. Yay. You know, and that seems kind of, I mean, to people that maybe don't understand, it seems kind of crazy and seemed kind of wild. But for me, it was like I was celebrating her win, but I was also super excited. And that's the reason why she came to me, because we had a conversation, because she was actively listening. Mm-hmm. And where I said I wanted a car, and we both love Hondas. And I was like, if I get another car, I think I'm going to get me another Honda. And I said, I don't know what color I get, blah, 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 what style, whatever. And I said, but if you get a car before me, then I can, you know, determine like if I can look at it, drive it, see if I like it. And she was like, yeah, she's like, I don't know if I ever do that. And the Lord blessed her with a car. And I mean, super excited. And I'm always like that. I got another friend that had a car a couple years, well, not even a couple years now. I think it's just a year that she's had a car, brand new car. It was a 2025, brand new, brand spanking new, smelled new car scent all in the car. And I don't think she even called her husband and told her husband she got the car yet. Like me, she called me and she was like, hey, look, I got the car. And I was like, what car? She's like, remember when we was talking? I said, that was like 2 months ago. She's like, yeah.
I got it.
2 months, she was like, I need a car. And she was just, you know, depending on the Lord to do it. And I was like, what are we going to do? I need to sow a seed, you know, into a car. But, you know, I was just celebrate the wins. It's not just it's not just cars, but I do have a lot of friends that get blessed with cars.
And tell all the things.
All the things.
All right, number 4, show up in the messy moments.
Ooh.
If you can't be around your friend, when when things are happening that are uncomfortable, then that's not your friend.
That's not your friend.
It's not your friend. If you now see back to the shelf theory, they might not be on the top shelf. Now they're supposed to be your top tier, top shelf, on the shelf with the book friend.
Yes.
You're supposed to be able to be there for them when they're having a moment, and they're supposed to be there for you when you're having a moment. Like if you can't do that, then you need to reevaluate where they're at, their place in your life.
Right. I think that's absolutely a way to determine if somebody is a top shelf friend.
Yes. Now, when I had Jaden, my friend from work, now see, she was just a work friend at one point.
Right.
And another part of the shelf, you could have people that you only talk to at work that you're real cool with at work, but y'all don't say anything to each other outside of work.
Right. You don't have the opportunity to even see or even.
Right. She watched my kid during our anniversary weekend the year before Jaden was born.
Yeah.
Like she kept Jackson. You know what I mean?
I think she called me and I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah, she couldn't do it. So I was like, you know, got my friend Brittany, she got this.
Right.
So she after I had Jaden, or when she found out that we found out he was going to be premature no matter what.
Right, yeah.
And so she went to the store, bought some preemie clothes because she knew I didn't have any.
Right.
Bought preemie clothes, bought me some clothes. I was supposed to spend 2 weeks in the hospital before he was born. She bought me some clothes to walk around in the hospital in, like dresses. And I was so shocked. Like, why was I shocked that she would do that for me? But I was shocked.
Yes, because because in your mind she was just a work friend.
Yes, she set up a meal train for me so people could send me money for meals and food and stuff like
that.
Oh yeah,
I remember that.
Yep. She set up all of that stuff for me, and I was like, if I wasn't sure she was a friend before,
I am sure now.
I am all the way sure now. I knew it, but I was just solidified for me that she was going to be one of my greatest
because it was
friends.
a messy situation.
It was a terrible situation.
It
was one of the most traumatic things I've ever done, and she was there for all of it.
Yeah.
And I'm great. Like, Brittany, if you ever watch this, I greatly appreciate you. Yeah. But yeah, so she was there for all of it. And she organized, like, the folks at work, because we normally have a baby shower for everybody.
Right, yeah.
And she organized getting me a stroller. I still need a stroller and car seat.
Oh, yeah, because he was premature, so a lot
I
of
needed
things
it. And
that you didn't have.
Yeah, so I didn't have it yet.
Right.
Because he was born at 29 weeks, so I didn't have it yet. And she made sure that I got it. She got them to get together, and she bought the stroller and the car seat from my work folks. And I was like...
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I remember all of the logistics surrounding the premature birth. I remember, I don't know what's the right word to use, but...
Be careful. This is too early in the episode for me to be crying about this now.
No, I'm not going to cry.
It's its own episode at
No, I'm not
going to
cry. You're not going to cry. I just remember, this is funny. I remember gaining access to an unrestricted area. Because I was like, I need to find out what's the status of this baby.
She just showed up to this hospital, and I was like, this was 2021. Now, you still couldn't, and they had they were just about to lift the rules if you could only have one person at the hospital with you.
Yeah.
but it still had to be like an immediate family member.
Yeah.
So she showed up in my room, and I was like,
how did you get here?
how you get here? The girl got connections and things, but
yeah.
another person that is here for me in some of the messiest things that I've been in, been around. So if they cannot be there for you in the messy moments, in the moments of true sobbing vulnerability,
absolutely.
that ain't your friend.
That ain't your friend.
Let it go.
If they don't know what you look like without makeup, that ain't your friend.
That ain't your friend. Ooh, number 5 is good.
That's good. Set and respect boundaries.
Boundaries are hard.
They are hard.
They are hard for a lot of people because it's the thing of like, oh, it's easy to say, I'm not going to let you disrespect me.
Right.
But then when you do, what do I do after that?
Right.
Am I actually going to cut you off?
That's right.
That's what I was telling her before we started. Jackson, my son, my 8-year-old, he was talking about how one of his friends called me a name. And I was like, buddy, first of all, kids do that. Y'all get upset. You all are 8 and you have low emotional intelligence, and none of you have been here before. You're all just 8 years old. You don't know how to be an 8-year-old. You don't know how to have friends.
Absolutely.
The way that you can work this out is that you tell him, hey, I don't like when you call me names. I don't like when you do certain things.
Yep.
Now, that person continues to cross you. Like, you're teaching him how to be a friend now by listening to you. Now, if he
tell him what you'll accept and what you don't.
Exactly.
What your expectations
are. But I said, if he keeps crossing you, now it's up to you to say that we will no longer play together and we are no longer friends.
Right. Or we will only be in this capacity of
I might play with you on the playground, or I might do this, but like, I don't want to play, online with you anymore. I don't want to play Fortnite with you anymore. I don't want to do any of that anymore.
Right. Absolutely.
So you have to make
decisions.
There
has to be a consequence.
Yes, there has to be a consequence of somebody crossing you.
Yes.
And that's really hard for him.
Yeah.
Really difficult for my 8-year-old. And I get it. But I'm hoping
it's hard
that if I can
adults.
get him, but I'm hoping if I can get him to work that out now, it won't be so difficult for him as an adult. He won't have to go to therapy to figure out how to create boundaries and consequences for disrupting his boundaries.
Right, or go to therapy because somebody overstepped their boundaries and caused harm to him.
Yes, and he didn't know what to do.
And didn't know what to do.
He didn't know what to do. And I'm like, no, I want you to know what to do because I didn't really know what to do, but I want you to know what to do.
Right.
When somebody decides to disrespect you.
I think boundaries are a good way to establish your yes and your no's. Mm-hmm.
And even your maybes.
Yeah, and your maybes. They're a good way to establish your wills and your wants as well. Yes. These are the things I will do. These are the things I won't do. Or these are the things I will accept. These are the things I won't accept. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important that you know how to do that from a very early foundational age. Yes. And that's when you're in your 20s, everybody's on the same wavelength. Yeah. Everybody's partying, hopefully. You getting it out of your system.
So you only doing that when you're in your 30s and 40s.
Well, because you don't want to do it when you're in your 50s and your 60s. I mean nothing's wrong with that. You can do it, when you get ready to retire.
Not that hard. But not as hard as you do in your 20s.
In your 20s, it's a different level.
It's something.
Times you don't remember. You woke up.
Something.
But anything that happened between the time you got there.
And you gotta be able to handle it.
You gotta be able to handle it. So
gotta be able to handle it. All right, number 6.
Number 6, make them feel seen and appreciated.
So outside of just saying, like, I celebrate your wins, I celebrate you as a person.
That's right.
Like you.
Not just the things you have or
the things you do. You as a person, your character, your morals, your value, the way you live your life, the way you treat your husband, the way you treat your kids. You are seen and appreciated.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yes. Even when you feel like you're not doing a great job, I see the fruit of what you're doing and that you're doing a wonderful job in life.
And I think that's important to do with somebody, especially is in one of those messy seasons.
Yes, because I mean, golly, like I just knew I couldn't do nothing right after I had that kid. I was so sad all the time. I was like, I ain't doing nothing right. Nothing. And I mean,
I don't think you were really vulnerable at that time, but because I knew the situation was vulnerable, I remember just always actively trying to encourage you and speak life into you, which was it was easy to do anyway, because I've always told you, even with Jackson, you are awesome. You're such an awesome parent. When you're teaching forward-thinking kids and teaching them to be able to look inside themselves and become more self-actualized, which is one of the things we're going to talk about in later episodes. We're going to talk about Maslow's hierarchy, which discusses, the needs of people and how to be self-actualized. I really believe that it's important to go ahead and give kids that foundation. An adults is foundation. That's why a lot of us, by the time we get to 30, 40 years old, we start going into therapy and we are backtracking to try to correct things.
All the stuff that if you had learned it when you were a kid,
that's right.
You might be, wouldn't have messed up in maybe some relationships, some friendships. You would have been different, or you would have reacted differently to different situations, but you didn't have the tools you needed to be that person that you wanted to be.
Right, and you never felt seen and appreciated by people. Right. So when people that are not necessarily good for you give you that type of attention or give you that type of affection, or they mimic what looks like a great friendship. They actively listen. They show up for your show up for your wins and celebrate you. And they do all these things.
But they hating in the background and you don't know.
But then they hating in the background, and in the background, because you hadn't been able. There's a false sense of friendship. There's a false sense of security in that relationship.
Yeah. Because you're not sure what a good friendship looks
like.
Right.
Because they're giving you the bare minimum. Yeah. That might, to me, these are bare minimums, but they're giving you the bare minimum, and you don't know that it's the bare minimum because you never received it. Yeah. And then when they give it, when it blows up, you're like, I didn't see that coming. And then when you
completely blindsided.
But then you meet somebody that is a genuine friend, and they start speaking life into you, and they actively listen genuinely in all of the situations, and even in the times when you're messy. I think it's important that you not only sympathize and empathize with a person, but that you also be able to relate to them, because empathy is so much more than just saying, oh,
I feel bad. I understand. I feel bad for you in that situation.
It's also important to be able to relate in some aspect to what they may be going through, in any experience, especially in the messy situations. And so it's important that you have somebody that makes you feel seen and appreciated.
Yes. All right, number 7. Apologize when you mess up.
Ooh, this is a hard one.
Apologizing to people and admitting that you're wrong.
Yes.
Boy,
that's
hard. Who's the hardest person for me to apologize to is my kids.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like as the adult, like adults weren't apologizing to me. Like you're just a kid.
Right.
Why should I apologize to you? But I mean, they're just tiny humans. Like
there are many adults.
They deserve apologies as well when you know that you've messed up. And so I do.
Because you need to teach them that as they get older, when you're wrong, to take accountability for their mistakes.
No matter what it is, no matter who it's to, no matter who it's towards. Right. But having a friend that can't admit when they're wrong or when they've wronged you.
Right. It's a terrible thing.
It's a turnoff.
It's a huge problem.
Yeah, like if you can't say I'm sorry, I apologize, and then what you can't do after somebody apologizes, you can't expect me to just drop and say, oh, I forgive you.
Right.
Even my kids, I'd be like, they say something to me and I say, it's not okay. Right. And I might forgive you in a little bit, but right now I'm not ready.
Right now I'm not ready.
And Jackson's looking at me like, what you mean you don't forgive me? I said, I didn't say I don't forgive you. I said, I don't right now. I'm glad you apologize. Right. You don't apologize for somebody to say automatically, oh, I forgive you. They're not healed from what you just did to them.
That's right.
You have to give them time.
The apology is just an acknowledgement of that.
Yes, that I did wrong. So I appreciate you acknowledging that, but I'm just not ready.
That's right. I'm just not ready to accept
both sides.
And I absolutely do that with my kids. I have, we always try to raise our kids differently than the way we were raised, but a lot of the fundamentals of the way I was raised weren't terrible. Maybe it might have been not done in the right way or presented in the right manner, but a lot of things that you have to look at in retrospect and take from that. And one of those things were being able to give them a safe space to be able to express themselves, however, not being rude or disrespectful. Mm-hmm. I think growing up, even if they had presented me with a place to be able to pour out with my emotions, I don't think I know that I would have been rude and disrespectful. There have been times when I've blown up, when I was younger, and there was no respect given because I didn't see them and I didn't respect them. I didn't respect them, so I didn't give them respect. But for our kids, for my two girls, I made them to have an understanding to be held accountable. Mm-hmm. In order for them to know how to be held accountable, I have to hold myself accountable. So I would apologize to them and I would say, what I said, it doesn't take, the way I said it was incorrect. What I said is correct. I needed that to be said, but the manner, my tone, that's the volume,
my tone. I could have. I'll tell him I could have said that better.
Right.
I'm sorry about how I said it, but what I said still stands.
It still absolutely stands, and I think that's important in friendship. Like I remember in the first episode, you discussed about how, I'm very, blunt. Yeah. Or but I don't say it in a sarcastic way. No. And that has not always been the case, because there wasn't a buffer. There wasn't honey on my lips. There wasn't a way. There was no sugar. There was no sugar at all. It was just tell it straight like it is. Straight no chaser, as they say.
And if you get it, you get it.
If you hate it, you hate it. If you hate it, you hate it. It's what it is. But when I had children, that's one thing that I wanted to break. To me, it's a generational curse to speak like that to anybody, but especially to your children. You really damage your children in the way that you speak to them and the tone that you take with them.
Because they remember that for life.
They remember it for life, especially in their core memories.
Yeah, small things that you feel like, oh, you probably won't even remember that. Right. They do.
They absolutely remember it.
But yeah, apologizing to your friends when you mess up and waiting for them to respond
accordingly
to you. Not like making them forgive you right away, but apologizing and meaning it.
And not apologizing because you have a guilty conscience, but apologizing because you know you were wrong.
Yes, because you mean it. Absolutely, because you mean it and you really want to apologize. Because sometimes I'm like, Jackson, you didn't apologize to me. I said, you know what? It's cool because you probably didn't mean it. You didn't do it because you didn't mean it. And he's like, wait, no. I said, no, you didn't apologize for whatever it was, and it's cool.
Right.
It's cool. If you don't want to, that's fine. And then he'd be like, no, Mom, I'm sorry. Too late. If I had to get you to apologize, that means you didn't see anything wrong with your behavior.
Right.
And that same thing goes for adults. You didn't see anything wrong with your behavior. But okay. 8, be consistently present even in small ways.
Ooh, yeah.
So like we were talking about sending memes, we are consistently present.
Yes, we are consistent in small ways.
It doesn't always have to be grand gestures. Ooh, let me come over and bring you some soup. Ooh, I'm gonna come over. Ooh, I'm gonna come over. Ooh, you don't have to do all that.
That's why I say for 2 years, I think we literally seen each other twice, like physically.
Yeah, because you were
once you
sick.
see me, and I was like, I had gained a lot of weight, and
like a roly poly,
swollen. What I say, I look like a chipmunk.
Yeah, you was real swollen everywhere. I just looked at it. I didn't say anything. I just looked at it.
Right, you were like, something's wrong, but I'm gonna wait till she tells me there's something wrong. I didn't know what was wrong, that's why I couldn't tell you. Yeah. And then the next time you see me, I was back down to my regular weight, and you were like, now you look like yourself. Like you said that. You were like, you look like yourself now. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I don't look like a chipmunk. I don't like I have, nuts
even trying to hide it in like FaceTime calls. Like, I see you.
Because all I seen was my jaws, man.
Yeah, they were jawing.
They were jawing.
But okay, number 9, know when to give tough love. Ooh. Know when to not have to put all that honey on your lips and just say it like it is. Because sometimes I don't want a yes man.
Yeah, if you ain't gonna get one of me.
You my top shelf friend. I don't need you to tell me that I'm right every single time I tell you something.
Wrong.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I think I did that one time, and you said it was real deep. Whatever it was, I can't remember exactly
what it was either. But I remember being like,
I remember you was on the phone and you said I ain't gonna be able to receive that right now. I will, but not right now.
It. Yeah, I heard what you said. I'm gonna keep it in my heart. Right. I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna pray about it. But like,
see,
I ain't like it.
It's this thing
but you got to.
I got to.
You got to.
It's this thing that I learned early on.
Back over.
Oh, it's this thing that
camera.
I learned.
Thank you.
Learned when I first got saved, or when I was first coming to church. I can't even say that I was saved yet. I was just coming to church because they would feed you, and I'm down for a free meal.
Yes.
But I remember when I was first coming to church, and I was trying to figure out, who was my people, who I was going, connect with, and I remember the pastor telling me that I would never. He said I might tell you. He said, I might hurt your feelings when I say this, but I'll never tell you a lie. And I was like, okay, just, go ahead and tell me. He's like, you need to always be honest with people like that. He said, in the body of Christ, a lot of times when people get saved or they come in and they think everything in their life is going to be sweet. It's going to be perfect.
And he said, God didn't promise you a life of nothing. He didn't promise you a life of no tribulations, no trials, just because you decided to follow him.
That's right. There are things that are going to be hard, and you need people that are surrounding you that are going to tell you the truth. You need great accountability partners, and if you're not doing that, then what is the point in being in the kingdom of God? You don't need people that are just going to tell you that your behaviors are correct or that your behaviors are just incorrect without telling you in a way that is going to cause you to be receptive to it. The Bible teaches us that when you go to someone to give them a word, if they don't accept your word, then you come back in front of a witness, and you bring a witness with them to be like, hey, this is what's going on, because they may not be able to receive it from you, but they may be able to receive it from someone else. Same word, especially when you have teenage kids. I was adamant about my child being able to have a mentor or somebody that the things that she didn't feel comfortable telling me that she could tell somebody else. She could tell somebody else. And she had those, at church, she had a huge, just a great support system. There's still a support system now, even in her adult years, that she was able to go into and just say, hey, these are the things that are going on. And they would be able to tell her the tough things, the same things that I would tell her. Yeah. And I think it's important that you have those friends in your life. Yeah,
it is.
You absolutely don't want somebody to tell you yes when you
all the time.
Like
I showed did. Yeah, you had some stuff. I was like, girl, you tripping.
And there would be times when I would tell you, and I would say stuff, and I'd be like, I'm on the verge of this, and you'd be like, yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. And I would be like, no,
stop. Go back to bed. Go take a nap.
Take a nap.
Get off the other side of the bed this time, because you're tripping.
You tripping.
Eat a Snickers. Like, what is wrong with you? Hangry? God, no. But yes, tough love.
Tough love.
Important. It's important.
It is important.
Okay, last one. Keep showing up year after year. Keep
Year.
making your presence known in that person's life. Even if like maybe you're not in a space to really be having all these conversations or go anywhere. Right. Keep showing up, making yourself known, making sure that they understand that you are still here for them when you're ready to be friends again. Like when you're ready to be deep again, when you're ready to express your vulnerability.
Absolutely.
I'm here for you.
And I did that, especially when, I got sick and I wasn't able to be present in people's lives like I wanted to because I didn't know how I was going to be from day to day. And so I didn't make plans. I didn't make promises. I didn't make plans. I didn't, put myself into a position where I was going to have to let somebody else down, but I did still show up. I called, I texted, I, did those things to say, hey, I'm not feeling great, but, just checking in, or I'm good, I'm still alive. I mean, I think there was a couple times I just texted and said, I'm still alive, I'm good.
Yeah. And that was the text.
That was it. I'm okay. Alive.
And I'm like,
yep,
great.
That's it. Just, showing up because it's a relationship that I want to continue to cultivate. You and a few other people, like, even now, the relationships I have with my family, making sure I show up. Not just my immediate family, but my extended family, my brothers and, my dad and things like that. I make sure that I try to text my dad and talk to my dad every day. That's my homeboy.
Every day.
Every day. That's my homie.
Yeah. Y'all friends now.
Yeah, we're friends. That's my homeboy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
And so I absolutely try to make sure that I let him know that I love and appreciate him.
Right.
You
should.
And that's present. I mean, he just sent me a text yesterday. He was like, "You probably resting, but I'm just checking in to make sure you okay." And then I gave him a little rundown, and I was, like, I got a little fever, blah, 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 whatever I was telling him. But I'm good. And immediately after I sent that, he was like, "You need me to come down and bring you something?" Daddy, I'm grown.
I'm fine.
I got 2 kids and a husband.
If
I need something, these people in the house. But he showed up.
A friend.
A friend.
That's what friends do.
A friend. I'm telling you, he my friend. He my buddy.
Now, I do have one more question for you before we close
out.
Ready?
Maybe.
How would you define a godly friendship?
Ooh. A godly friendship.
A godly, not just a regular old friendship with the homie that you go to, a godly friendship.
A godly friendship. I think I would. That's so hard. I think
I'm taking that. You come up with something.
No, I'm telling you. I think it's hard because the expectations I have for regular friendships aren't that
different.
That different. I mean, they're, godly friendships. I expect someone to be able to encourage me.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I'm not talking about the encouragement. Oh, you got this. You got to do it. I need Bible-based scriptures to pull me out of where I'm at, because your words ain't gonna help this time.
Yeah, I need my mind, Lord in it.
Yes, I need the Spirit of God to speak through you in whatever capacity and whatever strength you have. I'm not asking you to be a prophet. I'm not asking you to be a preacher or a teacher. What I'm asking you to be is exactly what God said. For the same thing God is to you, I need you to be that for me in this moment. When me and my husband first started courting,
they're so old.
Anyway,
go ahead.
So old.
Courting.
That's one of the things I prayed to God and said that if he was the man meant to be for me, I needed my own Jesus on earth. Not that he was a God, not that I was putting him above anything. But they tell you to call, your husband Lord. But not that I was putting him in any position or making him an idol. But I needed, at that time in my life, I needed Jesus more than I needed anybody else. I needed a relationship. I didn't need friendships. I needed God. I needed him to come in and, destroy all the things that need to be destroyed, tear me down, break me down to the foundation, and build me back up. And those are the type of friendships that I need. I need somebody that, all of these things here that tells you yes. And so in those type of relationships, I need somebody that is deeply, deeply intertwined with the Spirit of God, deeply intertwined with the Word of God, deeply connected to the foundation of the Lord and who he really is. And I need somebody to be, I need somebody to be bold, because I'm a bold person. And I need somebody that is like, okay, for instance, when I said that I'm not afraid of confrontation. I'm not afraid of confrontation. I don't go looking for confrontation, but I'm also not afraid if confrontation comes.
Okay.
If it's confrontation time, then it's the confrontation time.
Then we got to do what we got to do.
Then we got to do what we got to do. We got to go toe to toe. I don't go looking for it, but I'm also not running from it. And so in those sense, I need somebody just as bold in the power of God, because when you come to me, I'm gonna push back, and I need you to be
stand two toes,
I need
2
you to
feet
stand
down, 10 toes down, and
10
say,
toes down.
This is what God said.
This is what God said, and not back down.
And I'm not gonna take no for an answer.
Right.
I'm not gonna let you, railroad me into being like, well, are you sure? No.
Right.
This is what I heard.
I need somebody to be true, and I need somebody to be real. That's, honey. Real, for real. I need somebody that is genuine in who they are as a person, not somebody that's faking it, not somebody that is pretending, not somebody that is holier than thou, not somebody that is so intertwined with looking good, saying the right words when they pray, saying the right scripture at the right time.
That's in the scriptures.
Yeah,
Don't be out here just praying and saying and speaking nonsense.
Nonsense.
Make it meaningful.
I don't need you.
Meaningful.
I don't need you to make face. I need you to be for real
in the trenches.
In the trenches. When there's things that are heavy on my heart and I want to give up, I need you to be the one to, like, I need you to go above and beyond. So for me, I absolutely look for somebody. You know, we talk about ride or die in the world.
Yeah.
But I absolutely need you to be ride or die for me in the spirit. And I got a couple of them. My cousin Madia in Cartersville, she the thing.
Closet.
Man, we have been on the phones and she had told me stuff the Lord said. I said, I don't care what you say. I don't want to hear none of that.
I don't want to hear none of that. What you finna hear today?
And she said, I don't care about you what I want to hear. You finna hear it.
See? Tough love.
Tough love. I mean,
spiritual love.
That's the kind of I need. I mean, I need a no limit soldier. I need a soldier in the army of the Lord. You know, because I just feel like, you know, the type of warfare that I've had to experience, the type of things that I've had to experience in my life. I don't need somebody that's gonna be sugarcoating for me.
Right.
You can come in with your rainbows and your lollipops if you want to.
They're gonna be shot down.
You're gonna be in the pastor's office talking about
them poor rainbows gonna start melting together. That lollipop's gonna be melted.
You gonna bring me in the pastor's office talking about, she offended me.
She too much.
I have an offense. I have an offense. I have an ought.
Ought against my brother.
What about you?
No. I will say for a godly friendship, I would say that I need someone who is also trying to learn more about God.
Yes.
Trying to grow and keep their relationship with God and putting that relationship above all else.
Yeah.
Everything else.
So
even like doing a Bible study together.
Yeah.
Like that's help me out. If you see one that you really like and you know that I've been looking for something like that.
Oh yeah.
Let's do it together.
Oh yeah, I remember when you were reading.
Why she
was it Ecclesiastes?
No, it was Ezekiel. Girl, Ezekiel. Listen, I don't know if that was the first one I should have been starting with.
I don't think it was.
We were just reading it, and I was like, there was no Bible study book to go with it or nothing. We were just reading it, and I was like, I
remember you texted me.
It's a lot. The first chapter was a lot.
You texted me, and I said, do you have a concordance? You said, a what?
And I might have one. I actually think I looked for it, and I thought my mama gave me one, but I can't find it. And I'm like, I'm gonna need some old books around.
I said, do you have an amplified version? And
I got me a New Living Translation. I just got me a She Reads Truth Bible. It's like a Christian. I think it's CSB, Christian Standard Bible, something like that. So I got a few things here,
right?
Because I might have to go back and read Ezekiel again, but I'm gonna have to go somewhere else first. I got to go do something else.
Yeah, you got to do something else.
But anyway,
I remember when you were reading that and you called me or you texted me and I sent back some stuff and you was like, oh no, man, I wasn't even thinking about that.
I can't,
like
that
my
just eyes
aren't
open the way that your eyes are open when you read the same scripture that I read. Like even when I was texting you when I was reading Genesis, I said, I didn't read Genesis. I know I didn't read about 4 or 5 times at this point.
Yeah.
And there were things that I didn't notice.
Right.
But we can do that,
at another time.
But yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's important that you find somebody that has common ground. And I think even during that time, it was a great experience for me because even though I may know or I may retain the knowledge it's a good refresher. And it was also like, dang, I hadn't thought about that in a long time. Because I remember saying that to you about once and I was like, well, this is what I remember about it. And I said, but let me go back and look at my notes. And you was like, you got notes on that? I was like, I have notes on everything.
Right. And I was like, let me take better notes.
Yeah. And I told you, I was like, do you read 3 times? I said, do you go over the Bible 3 times? You like, what you mean? I said, 1 time just to read it, to get it through, to kind of get the word in you.
No.
2 to get an understanding, and then 3 to study. And you were like, no, I don't do that. You was like, you do that when you read the Bible? I was like, every time I read it.
How do you ever get through anything if you do it fit? Like, there's so many chapters, there's so many books, there's so much to read. How you ever get through it if you're reading everything 3 times?
Because I also listen to it. I also listen to it in the car. So, like, if I'm reading, let's say I'm reading Song of Solomon. Then I'll put that on when I'm in the car and I listen to the same thing that I'm already reading and then I can hear it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then it just marinates the thought.
But yeah. I'm gonna try to get like her on this because I want to know more and I feel like that's what I'm missing when it comes to my relationship with God, is that
You're not nosy enough. Forever. You're not nosy enough.
I'm not nosy enough, but I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there.
Yeah, you're not.
I'm working on it, because every now and then I'm like, wait a minute. Well, I started being a little bit nosy. I'm like, how does this work out? How does go? How does this happen?
You need to be inquisitive.
Yes, I need to be more inquisitive. I think I've lost that as I've become an adult and had a family and started a career and did all the things. I just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna just go through my day-to-day life and leave the rest of it be.
Right.
Well, the Bible, get back into it.
Well, the Bible tells us that when you're single, you're able to think on the things of God and His kingdom and how to uplift His kingdom. But when you get married, you think about your family, your husband, and how to please them. Yes. So it becomes a little bit harder. That whole aspect of that was just to discern, like, when you're ready to be married, understand that you have to make it's harder to make God and the kingdom of God a priority. A top priority. Life. Yeah. Absolutely.
But I'm gonna get there. My kids are old. I ain't got no excuse no more. Ain't nobody breastfeed. Ain't nobody in the trenches. Like, I ain't got no excuse not to be at least finding some time to carve out for just me and the Lord. And what's crazy is that my husband would be like, you need time to yourself?
Right.
Go.
Like,
be out of here. Do you want to go to the store? Do you want to go to Barnes & Noble and sit? Right. Like, he would just be like, okay, bye.
Right.
But I don't take advantage of it. I feel bad. But anyway, we'll get on that another time. Yeah. Mom guilt for no reason is crazy. But, here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
Let's wrap up this episode. This was a good one about friends. This is the last time we'll be talking about this.
Yes.
If y'all ever watch this video, let us know what you think about it in the comments.
Yes, absolutely. I think next week we will discuss the 5 love languages.
Ooh.
Or 5 languages of love.
5 love languages. You had it right the first time.
I did, didn't I?
Girl.
Oh, why I do that? Why I always
right
do that?
The first time. Don't be second guessing yourself.
See, that's what you're right.
Smart, girl.
Yeah.
See, uplift.
That's right. That's right.
But anyway.
But yeah, I think on our next episode we'll discuss the
5 love languages.
5 love languages. And we'll break those down.
Yep. Next week. So be back next Friday.
Yes,
same time,
Friday.
same place. Bye, y'all.
Bye.